Hey, don't start this wording.
I felt it in my spirit.
Don't start this wording.
I said, say something real now.
Take your real.
My earth, wind, and fire.
Be like, your teacher used to be like, go stand in the hallway.
Yep, and I was the one that was in the hallway.
When I look outside, you better be standing by that door.
To be.
Yep.
Go stand in the hallway.
Hey, I come to class with no books, knowing I'm going right back out.
It was a good old day.
I have no books.
Now they call the police.
Right.
They used to tell you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Man, my brother was so bad. They pulled a chair out, a desk,
put it in the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He did all his assignments at the desk.
It's funny she even said that because those was the days. I remember numerous days of coming into school.
How many days?
Numerous. Numerous days.
Not this one time.
No, numerous.
Not a few days.
Hey, it was to the point that it was a chair, like it was a desk, like you know how those old desks was. It was sitting right outside. So as soon as I walk in the class, she'd be like, I ain't even do nothing yet.
You already know.
You won't get the chance.
Like you ain't gonna interrupt nothing. No, where you supposed to be?
Let's preface this since we know children are listening. Let's preface this and say that this is not the behavior you want to.
You don't want to be like this guy.
Okay.
You don't want to be like this guy.
But I mean, like literally, I remember. I think I only got sat in the hallway one time, and I remember the principal walked by, and she just looked at me and she's like, shook her head like, just no future.
Hey, I promise you, I know that look because it was like every day, like they just walk past and look at you. Like,
he said he knows that look.
Like you out here again? Like you ain't gonna be nothing.
Just no future.
I was just about to say, I hope the kids can see you. This is who you don't want to become.
Listen, but actually, after all of that,
hey,
I became
it builds character.
I am somebody.
Really, is that what it does? It builds character.
Yeah,
it builds character.
Because it built me. 6'1", 250.
You had time to think about your life.
Yeah.
It was like being in solitary.
No, to be honest with you, after when
I would get up and go to the other classroom.
No, I'm gonna actually be honest with you. And now, to this day, this is like 30-some years later. Her name was Miss Reagan.
40 years later? You said 30.
30. Now, if she's still alive, I need to go find her.
If she's still alive.
Because I swear she was like old then. But she spoke something into my life. Well, she spoke something and it lit a fire because she looked at me as I was sitting in the hallway on one of them numerous occasions and looked at me and said, you ain't gonna graduate. You ain't gonna be nothing. And walked away.
That's cold.
Now, at first,
that's cold. Say it again. She said, what?
She said, you ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna graduate.
Ooh.
And walked away. And
was she a black or a white teacher?
It was a white teacher.
Ooh,
no, seriously. That really did something to me. So I was like,
because when black people tell you that, I don't know if they really mean it.
Yeah, but when
we just trying to motivate you.
I didn't know if she was racist or what. Even though if I would have stayed on that path, she would have been a prophet. Yeah. I was on my way to eternity of dumbness.
What Ali Sadiq said, I've been bad for a long time.
Man, listen, I ain't lying. And after that, it lit a fire under me, man. And I'm proud to say that I graduated with a 3.5. I graduated when I'm 17.
Questionable.
No, I can show you my transcript.
Social
promotion. Now we've heard your word.
No, listen, I use these words.
You know, we got a poet in the studio.
I use these.
Y'all hear another voice in here laughing.
Listen,
we got a wordsmith in the studio.
This poet right here, man.
If he listen, he'll be like agreeing with me.
So you know what?
Greenfield.
But this is what I figured out, though.
Was BSing on them tracks.
But this is what I figured out being out in Greenfield. Let me finish what I'm trying to tell you. Being out in Greenfield. What happened was,
dude, Jermaine, we done with you.
I'm just saying,
and I'm done.
I made it. At the end of the day, I made it.
Cake.
That too. I made a cake. I made it out. Whatever you want to put on it, I made it.
What you?
I know you were.
There you go. I made it.
They was like, we can't do enough with this guy.
Hey, either I made it or they just got tired of me.
That's the latter is probably the one I would.
They just got tired of me. It was
If you're
like,
not sure,
yeah.
you probably didn't.
Hey, because I ain't gonna lie, man. I was walking across stage like,
You said
how?
either.
I was walking across stage doing my diploma
Was
like,
you surprised?
how? Like, how did I do that?
especially with a 3.5.
Yeah, yeah. Like, how
And
did I
your
do
mom and
that?
daddy sitting there like,
Now that I'm older,
check the signature.
now that I'm older, so you kind of got me thinking.
I'm just saying, your mom and daddy like, check the signature.
Like, maybe they did some
Make sure
type
this
of,
boy ain't bought a diploma.
yeah, maybe they did some type of in-house cahoots or something, man, to get me up out
I'm
of there.
just saying, Greenfield.
Social promotion.
Hey, man, I'm gonna have to go back up there and check the
He
transcript.
he made a cake. Oh my
I'm trying
God.
to see, man. I
All
don't
right.
know, man. I probably didn't.
So look, young people listening to the show this morning, again, more cautionary tales about how if you don't do what you're supposed to, life can go
Don't be like this guy.
real bad for you, real bad. Let me welcome folks to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You're listening to Say Something Real talk. That was a disturbing
Oh man.
but memorable. I'm telling y'all. I
How do
think
we end up down that rabbit hole?
Jermaine, how do we always end up
See,
anywhere?
what had happened was
How do we
I
always
felt
end
the
up
need.
anywhere we're not supposed to
I
be?
felt the need to tell the truth
Because
on
we
this
got
Wednesday
a problem
morning.
child working at the radio station.
By
who
black sheep.
got to come
Have you
here
really won?
and get on the therapeutic couch to get his mind right. Hey,
I'm the black sheep.
look, hey Debo, how you doing?
Good morning, Michelle.
So you didn't even
For-
say hi to me.
For the fact that I understand that you've wasted a lot
Vaughn,
of time. listening to the
Vaughn, I
foolishness.
got like 5 years
Just-
old to sit
Just good morning. That's all
You
I
got
have.
gray
to say.
hair and stuff coming in.
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Yes, yeah. Look, I like that. Get in and get out,
Oh
Debo.
man. There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
he tried to show you up.
Yeah.
Clark Kent, what's happening, bruh? Who you
Will
with?
you fool?
Vaughn, like, damn, is somebody else in here?
Yeah, we got Clark in the storage room. we ain't brought him out in a minute, but Clark is back here. All right, y'all. So first of all, let me say good morning. A lot to get to today. I am going to be doing double duty. I'm actually covering for my guy, Mr. Paris. I'll be doing his show this morning. So you guys got me for like the next 4 hours. I'm sorry. I apologize. And I'm not responsible for what I say. You know, that's a great way to set that up. You have heard me make reference to the point that there is another brother in the studio. You know, folks just show up, bust doors open, like, hey, let me in. I'm like, who's that? Vaun. Well, since he like family, let me act right. Good morning, Mr. Mays. How you doing this morning,
Good morning,
sir?
Queen. I'm okay. How about yourself?
Bruh, I ain't seen you in person
Right,
in
it's
a
been a
long
long It's been a long time.
Every time I see you, I'm looking at your videos. Like, where we at now? Who done committed a crime? Who we apprehended? Who get put on blast?
Right.
Wait, who got to be fed? What truck is pulling out? Man, you forever are in the midst and in the mix of things. And just like everything else I've outlined, no surprise when I tuned into Facebook and I had gotten the flyer that there was going to be a conversation around the Office of Wellness and Safety. I'm not sure if I'm saying it in the right order, but I wanted to talk to you, and to your credit, you reached out to me and said, hey, I saw some of the comments you've been making, Michelle, a post or whatever. And if you want to talk, anytime you want to talk, I'm available. I'm open. So first of all, I appreciate that. I really do. But
I got to do something right.
that's what we clapping for.
I gotta do something right.
It's that 3.5 word.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Hey, man, great minds think
He
alike.
throwing shots.
No.
He throwing blows.
See, we gonna take the positive. We gonna
EPS
take
knew he was throwing.
See, MPS don't know how to clap.
See,
They don't know how to
the
clap.
white folks
It's
over
only the
in
white folks that know how to clap.
You missed it. Black folks knew he just took a shot.
No, see
What
what
Dave
happened?
Chappelle say? We knew
What happened?
this was clearly
Great minds think
lying. Get out the conversation.
I didn't do nothing but clap for the brother.
Social promotion.
See, there we go.
I'm just saying. All right, Vaun. So let's get at it. you have been somebody that has been on the ground in a lot of regards before some of this stuff got started in terms of formalized offices and programs and projects to see how we can reduce violence in our community, how we can create a situation that's just safer for everybody and provide positive outlets, you know, whether it's for our young people, conflict resolution,
Right.
you know, to keep drama down in the community. So for people that are not familiar with you in that role, which I don't know how anybody listens to our station, they may not know you, but what I have learned is we get new people to the station every day.
Yeah.
Me and Jay was just talking about that this morning. You know, that may not know that long history. So tell people a little bit about yourself before we get into the conversation.
Ooh, history. Well, you know,
just the good parts. Just the good parts.
So yeah, but I always say this anytime I get to speak on like panels and stuff like that, because history does matter. And it was a point in this city where this wasn't, you know, violence prevention wasn't a thought. Since the days of people like maybe Commander McGee and people like that, I had not heard of folks talking about doing community patrols and stuff like that. I know Khalil, I came in this work under Khalil and Sean Moore.
Khalil Coleman.
Yeah. And I know at the time, right around we kind of had our split, Khalil was doing the safe zones, which initially I was supposed to be part of that. Okay. But essentially I just broke off and was doing my own thing, doing community patrols by myself. I had no intent of formal programs or initiatives or grants or anything like that. I just wanted to do stuff for my community. And so, yeah, from Sherman Park up till now, that's just where, you know, the energy was of just stepping up and being that person in the community to, one, be the middle piece between community and police, community and business, community and whatever the situation is, through things like Program the Parks and ITAV. It takes a community empowerment and solution center all the way up to the lock-in program. Now it's been just different forms of that, you know, manifesting.
And tell people what the lock-in program is real quick. So
the lock-in program is probably our newest thing. It's a couple years old. It actually came into fruition after the mass Bucks shooting incident, where this was an idea that I've been pushing across the city. My girl Jasmine Tyler and Ray Nitty got with me and said, how can we put our platforms and our minds and our skill sets together to make something happen, because everybody's talking about these young people, nobody's doing anything. Well, you got this idea, let's get together and push it and let's make it happen. And so they got with me. We got with at the time Alderwoman Shantia Lewis, and she, through those conversations, brokered our first space, which was the old YMCA building out in 91st and Brown Deer. And we put the program together. It was an overnight lock-in program, which was really catered toward the issue of young people being out all night, and just taking things from like the Program the Parks and all the stuff we've done before, but putting it into a formal activity that we can engage young people throughout the night to ensure they're not out in the middle of the
so the kids literally would come to the spot.
Yes.
And they would stay overnight with you guys
from 7 p.m. to 8 a.m.
You brave souls. You brave souls.
Oh, trust me, I still don't know how we do it. The overnight piece is real wild, but.
And how did the kids respond to it?
Oh, the last one we had just last month on the 23rd, we had 109 young people. Yeah. So they love it. And prior to this last one we just had, we didn't have one for a year. And when I tell you, we'll be out in the community and they would run up on us like, hey, y'all said y'all where the program at? Like,
really?
And again, these are kids who are shooters. These are kids who are stealing cars. These are kids who may be in the Credible Messengers program, kids in group homes, and then you got the straight A students. You know, you got it's for something for everybody.
So that hopefully sets up. And then did you mention Conforce? Because I just think that piece, you know, it's so funny. I was laughing. See the first little leaves turning kind of yellow in my yard, and I was talking to somebody, and I said, yeah, you know, after Labor Day, it's all downhill. Halloween. And then Vaun gonna be looking for Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
I literally
yeah.
said that yesterday.
Mhm.
And so for people though that are not familiar with what you do in terms of Conforce,
Yeah.
just mention that for me, please.
Ooh, so Conforce is actually probably the original thing that I came up with. And shout out to former senator, now Judge Lena Taylor, for when I came up with that concept. She was the only person that locked in and understood it and helped me push it and got people to really grasp what we were trying to do. So Conforce was and it still is a community resident and stakeholder led initiative where, I mean, it's elected officials a part of it, is stakeholders, youth, faith-based, or anybody you could name, with different platforms that say, if you call 211, right, and you can't get through, or there's, you don't find the help that you need, how can you bypass that process to say, man, this usually takes 24 hours to several weeks for me to get the assistance I need, right? So we shoot those issues up, and that could be something happening at a school, a park, a homicide, whatever the case may be, a homeless person, missing person, all these different things. We have this network that we shoot that stuff through, and then whoever can assist with that issue, use that platform to get it done, like tomorrow. Like, how can we address this
I
and
have
get it
seen
done
everything from finding women who may have come through a DV situation, got
Mhm.
kids that need to find, immediate shelter. Um, but you guys have also been responding to communities outside of Milwaukee.
Mhm.
We've
National
seen
disaster relief and all type of stuff. Yeah.
we've seen semi trucks and trailers roll out of Milwaukee, where
Mhm.
you've got collected donations from everybody
Mhm.
to say we going in looking for Black communities, got a contact on the ground.
Mhm.
We on our way to Ferguson, or we on our way to, where was the water crisis in
Flint? Yeah.
Flint. We on our way to Flint. We down, we going down south.
Mhm.
The hurricane hit,
Mhm.
and we showing up for our people. And
Yeah.
like every time you see it, you're just like, this is mad crazy. But it's the thing that we talk about all the time:
Mhm.
the ability to be able to do for self. So you do a combination of community-led initiatives, and you got the formal side of things where you actually engage with elected officials, the government, the city. And so that brings me to the conversation I wanted to have this morning in relationship to the Office of Wellness and Safety.
Mhm.
I got to take a break, but you were I went to only one of the meetings that was
Okay.
open to the public
Mhm.
when they were doing the initial interviews, and had whittled it down to 3 potential people
Right.
out of this national search. And so I got to hear the community ask questions and be engaged at that process,
Mhm.
only to then have the process kind of flipped on its head when it seems like just word on the street was the person that they wanted to go with ultimately didn't accept the job.
Mhm.
And so as opposed to go back to the well of applicants, the
They did away
mayor
with it. Yeah.
comes up in a new direction. So let me take a break. So community, that's what we're talking about for a minute, because I wanted to be able to have the conversation with somebody that's on the ground, that's going to interface with this office, and just to get his thoughts and opinions about it. So we'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be back in a sec.
with your host, Michelle Bryant, on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So I am thrilled this morning to be able to have a conversation with a brother that's been out here on the front lines for a long time, Mr. Vaun Mays. As conversations were sparked about the Office of Wellness and Safety, the process by which the new director, Adam Purcell, was selected. There's been a lot of discussion in the community. People that listen to my show, I've had a lot to say. A lot of it initially has been about process-driven comments, and then also, to be able to understand who this guy is, the direction of the agency, what the community should understand and expect. So, Vaun, you were, first of all, how does your organization in any way interface with the old Office of Violence Prevention, now the new Office of Wellness and Safety?
Yeah, so I've worked unofficially with the office since 2016 when Reggie was there.
Okay, Reggie Moore.
And then I think our first actual sub grant or direct employment or contract with them was the year prior to Arnita leaving.
Okay.
So it was still the Office of Violence Prevention then. So
Okay.
I guess you could say, yeah.
Okay, so you're somebody that has had experience then directly
Mhm.
working with the office. So you you were a part of, at least at the meeting I was at, and I don't know how many other of the public sessions that you attended.
I went to all of them.
So when they started this process and they decided to have the public be able to see these people up front, what did you think about that piece of the process?
I mean, I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I had no idea. I knew Karen was being interviewed to see if she would get the lead position. I had no idea they were doing a search beyond her or a national search.
Okay.
So when that piece came up, it was a total surprise to us in the office. At least those of us who are not directly in the office. I can't speak for anybody in the actual office who may have known what was going on or not. And so that's why we made sure we went to those sessions to see who these people were, to hear from them. And to be honest with you, I did like the other person that didn't take the job.
This was a brother who's actually had connections to Wisconsin. But lives down
initially
in
I thought nobody did because that wasn't explained. They just threw names out there. So we like, it's a national search. He coming from out of state.
Yeah, he's from Florida.
Yeah, so even then I was like, I'm not a fan of national searches at all.
Okay.
Because what typically, we've seen this with Chief Flynn. We've seen this with other people who are brought into the community who bring these other mindsets into Milwaukee, where what works in Boston or what works in so-and-so and so-and-so place don't necessarily work here.
Okay.
But when you implement those things with no regard to like the history or what the makeup of the city is, it tends to clash a lot of times. So, like I said, I wasn't in support of the whole, how that was done. I did, learn more about that guy, that he was from here. He had ties from here. And I liked some of the stuff that he was saying. So I was like, I mean, we can't go wrong with him or Karen, honestly, if I'm being honest. But, I'm a Karen supporter. We, again, are coming off of 2 years of declines in a lot of stuff. We put a lot of work in the past 2 years. There have been a lot of.
So when you say declines in a lot of stuff,
and
so
a lot
the community understands. What do you mean by that?
So a lot of people miss, and I know when you're seeing crime, especially on social media and in the news, you can never tell when it's an actual decline in certain forms of in crime, right? So, but if you look up those numbers from 2023 and 2024, there have been declines the past 2 years.
So, like specific areas, more so,
so
overall crime too.
So, general overall crime, but certain crimes went up. Like I think carjacking went up. Has been on the increase, and it's one other one that has been on the increase. But fatal and non-fatal, and a lot of other different violent crime have been on decline.
So, while we're talking, I pulled up an article that actually is on the front page of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel today. And the headline is enough to stop you in your tracks. And the headline says, MPS lost enough students to gunfire last year to fill a classroom. MPS lost 23 students to gunfire. So that's just school age kids. And then if we think about, some of the stuff we see the adults engaged in,
Mm-hmm.
this is a very unsettling picture for a lot of people. But you took a deep breath when I said that. Why?
I love NPS, man, but we got to be honest, and it's the same thing with all. Whether we talk about the Democratic Party, whether we talk about the city and how just things are done, we could do a whole lot more.
Mm.
And I don't know if someone from NPS would read that and be taken aback like you just were, because there's so much more we could be doing with that space. While we have, these are places where these children are all consistently throughout the year, right? So why is there not more of a open door policy for programs and initiatives that can help save these young people while we have them in the
inside
space?
these schools.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying so much more could be done, and hopefully the new superintendent can be, because I've had conversations with a lot of officials and the previous superintendents, and to be honest, it's been a lot of spinning promises. Yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we can do that, and then you don't hear back, or it's several months later you got to have the same meeting over. We have to start doing stuff different.
And it was interesting because when you said, Michelle, just the idea of me being taken aback by that number.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I'm trying to pull it up. My internet connection is jacked up today. But in one of the clips, they said that the superintendent was surprised. It sounded like, to hear that that's what's going on in NPS. But for me, realistically, working in that arena, having all the information in front of you, you shouldn't be surprised, like you said, because it's one thing when you're on the outside looking in. But if you're in the trenches or you around the trenches, then you definitely are getting a much better idea of what's really happening and going on. So, okay, so we know that, and I would say that the work of this office is important, has the potential to be important.
Absolutely.
And we know it's other groups that definitely need to come to the table differently. So with that being said, you participated in a Facebook Live that was done, and Adam Purcell was there,
Reggie
Moore, Judge Mosley moderated. What was the sister's name? Deidre? Something Smith. I can't.
Desmond
Smith.
Yeah.
I keep messing up her name. And I think Shannon Ross is who I heard in the background. I don't know if I ever saw him on camera. Why were you? Why did you participate in that? And what was the point of that particular Facebook Live as you understood it?
So I think part of it was the initial introduction of Adam. I think a lot of us kind of were taken aback by that.
It was raggedy.
The presentation. And so I think there's been an intention to like for him to explain himself, or to like to kind of correct that initial introduction we had.
Okay.
And so I was reached out to about the conversation. It was a lot of layers to how it finalized and got presented. But I thought it could have been and it was, honestly, I feel like the conversation, if it had been covered, and I totally understand everything you said about the aesthetics, because that was one of my things of like, we can't just be in a room talking to ourselves amongst ourselves.
Right.
This has to be streamed. People have to have, because we haven't had the open townhouses where people can get to ask and demand or whatever. So if it's something that presents itself like that to me, I know if I'm involved, then I know why I'm there, and I know that I can add and make sure that we are being open and honest, and that it's not just a show, if that makes sense. Which is why I agreed to it. And I just feel like even though I enjoyed the conversation, I wish the stream and everything else was up to par how we planned or that it should have been. Because I think there are some definite gems that we could take away from that conversation, but it was just thrown together like.
And that's again, that was what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of, and I said it, on that post, and I said it on the air. It looked like a bunch of CYA, and not even necessarily CYA initiated by Adam, but by Adam's supporters that are out here trying to, like, no. Get this guy a chance. And I'm like, first of all, and I did hear some, acknowledgement of that. Some of this doesn't have anything to do with him at all.
Mhm.
It's to do with the mayor and the process and the way this was handled and the way this, the community is led to believe that we care what you think.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the day, we really don't.
Mhm.
I'm going to do what I want to. And yeah, it's within my job purview to do it. So deal with it.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like. And I didn't appreciate any of that because I know how often our community feels like they go unheard.
Yeah.
But they the ones closest to the ground and everything is happening to them and around them and people making decisions that ain't nowhere on the damn ground with them. And you come in, you come out, you do a press conference, you wave and drop off a damn care package and you go back to doing what you're doing. So that part of it just irritated me. But you said that you thought some things got said that were some gems. Can you think of some of those things to share with the community?
The conversation got brought to the light about issues in the work, which is kind of the most pressing thing, where it's a lot of mess and it's a lot of infighting and it's a lot of posturing one group or organization at the other, and that was brought up. Adam himself brought it up, was saying, as I've been having conversation with different people, most of the conversation has been, we the real ones, don't mess with them over there. And I'm glad he brought that up because that definitely forced that conversation out into the open. It's been kind of hinted at, or
and so when we say we're talking about different people that do the work in this space.
So there are
spaces, violence prevention space.
So there are 3 groups, essentially 4, I guess you could say 4. So we have critical response, which is under the office, the Promise Keepers, which are under the office. You have 4-on-4 Life, and then you have I think I'm missing one, but you also have like the county initiative of like credible messengers.
Okay.
So these are all groups who essentially have to be funded and vie for their funding. So different forms of collecting data, different forms of outreach, different forms of promotion, right? And there are times where people posture like, forget them over there, we need all the money, we're the best. Like it's a lot of that,
we saw it going on even when Keon was around. I would hear some of the conversations, you pick up on stuff, and you're right, because who's more legit, who actually got more access and inroads in the community, who will people actually mess with, give information to. So yeah, there is some of that certainly goes on. But okay, this was one of my questions. So were you familiar with Adam at all before?
No, I had no idea. We have been in the same spaces and meetings more than a few times, but I've never had a conversation with him prior to that.
Okay.
So I had no idea his background or anything like that prior.
Okay.
No.
So that was one of the things in an acknowledgement that, trying to get more people on the same page, is this level of competition, because number one, it's enough foolishness for everybody, like really, quite frankly. And depending on, which group you target, like some people focusing on young people, some people focusing in certain zip codes, some people looking at dads. So it's all kinds of ways by which to approach this work. But did you hear anything else that you thought that this was good for the community to know or understand about that conversation that day?
So he brought up one of the main things that the other guy who declined the job brought up, which is the compensation. And so I will also preference this by saying all of us don't get paid the same thing.
Okay.
Right. And for anybody who follows me and understands what I do, I'm probably the lowest paid in the group of the lowest paid, which don't make sense at all.
Right.
Because I do what's in our contract and what's in our work, and then I do everything beyond that. Right. So at a point, and it is changing, and under him, he said this was going to change, that we were restricted to 20 hours a week, even though we did more than 20 hours, so there's that. And just the value piece. And then I had concerns about anybody new coming in, because who's to say a new person coming in won't knock all this over? And we have this setup that's working. We have all this history. They wouldn't know the history of what's going on, what's been happening, the landscape of things. I felt there would be an interruption in the work with someone new coming in, which, you know,
I think the fact that they saying it seems like Karen is going to stay.
That was a concern of mine
so
too.
that seems like at least there's that institutional knowledge that's there that can be shared. You know, I'm gonna tell you though, because like, and yeah, let me not miss words. When they talked about the salary for this role, 113,000, with you considering the enhancer for living in the city, because I think the starting pay might be like 110, somewhere around that.
Yeah.
And then you get an additional enhancer if wage salary enhancer if you live in the city. And then I think the ceiling on is like 152, 150 something, you know. So I'm messed up, and I'll be the first person to tell people. And I'm saying I'm messed up, and I'm actually, I actually don't mean that. I'm just saying it because what I'm talking about is when I start paying people six figures. Yeah, I'm paying hell of attention to resumes. And I don't care. All the people that try to diminish it and like, Michelle, you worried about the wrong things. You worried about education. You worried about this. You worried about that. I know how hard it is for people to make what they are worth. I know that Lena Taylor worked for 20 years for the state capitol and went from $48,000 a year to $57,000 a year. I know it's people bust their butt every day and are not compensated fairly. Yeah. And these people have put in education. This girl's a lawyer, you know, making $57,000 damn dollars. I was so happy she became a judge. I didn't know what to do because at least you finally in the pay range commiserate with your experience and education. But when you work in the public, that goes with the territory. I know city and sanitation workers who were not being paid fairly, who didn't have, you know, wage increases that they should have been getting. So when somebody, and this is gonna sound so messed up, but I mean it. When somebody has a resume that had 2 jobs on it, one of which you made up, and the other one 4.5 years working as a interim director, which I don't understand how you are an interim director for almost 5 years. What kind of raggedy company is this that you allow that position to be in limbo for almost 5 years? And then you realize like a lot of these people serve time together or they know each other, and I'm co-signing for your resume, you co-signing for my resume. And then I'm sorry, Vaun, I keep trying to move past the murder. I keep trying. And then even though some people said he didn't really do it, Michelle, he just caught the rap, you know. And then you 5 years out, you walk into a role getting ready to pay you potentially up to $152,000. And I think about how many Black men get that opportunity. Because even though Shannon Ross, you know, tells people he's racially ambiguous, 25% Black, you know, how many bros get that? That nonsense.
See, I never heard that.
It's in the Shepherd Express. Go read it. He said, I'm 25% Black. He said, I'm racially ambiguous. My mama is somebody is Irish white. My daddy 50% Black. And I'm like, you know, anyway, that's all of this madness. I was railing, was it yesterday? I don't even know now because it all runs together, about you get to be profiled on the MPS webpage as an alumni MPS and talking about, you know, I was a formerly incarcerated dreamer and a rebellious child, but you don't admit and acknowledge that you took somebody's damn life. Like all of that irritates me because now we as taxpayers, you got Black men who bust their butt and do the right thing and don't get these opportunities. And then you have brothers who are on the same trajectory of correcting their life and turning things around and can't get these opportunities. And then I look at this resume, which is a lightweight resume. I don't care what nobody said. It's a lightweight resume. It's one real job on there, I'm assuming, because I don't even know nothing about this job. And like, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know nothing about it. And then the job you made up. You know, and so that puts you, but so much experience. The most of your life you've been in jail. You ain't even been on the streets, you know, so that's my frustration. And I got to work through that, you know, and people are like, okay, Michelle, he's in, this is it. So we got to move forward. You know, you got shit. I ain't gonna call them name. You got people we got to pray and Jesus and the Lord see us through and wrap our arms around. Damn all of that. I'm not trying to wrap my arms around nobody. I want people to come to work that are skilled and educated and know what they're doing when they hit the ground. So that's me. I got that off my chest. Sorry, you had to go through that.
the Michelle,
but I'm sitting here like, what did I want to do?
But that was part of my conversation, right? Because I cannot vouch for, and it's not my position to vouch for anybody, right? I want to get the work done. And I've said this to him multiple times, even before the conversation. Whatever people think about you and whatever you worry about people thinking about you, don't matter. In this position, like, I'm not elected and I'll get more scrutiny than people who've been sat in office 20 years, right? So you have to put your head down, get in this office. Let's figure out what are we going to do, and let's execute.
I'm gonna push back on it. Don't matter, because if you in a taxpayer funded job and taxpayers got questions about you and they don't understand, to me that doesn't matter.
So let me clarify when I say it don't matter, because on the flip side of what you said, right, there are people who get these positions who are highly educated, but they know nothing about what's going on out there.
And I want to make sure I'm stressing, this ain't about being highly educated.
Yeah, well, so
this
I'm
is about
saying,
education and experience.
So that's what I'm saying.
Because that's one thing I saw people took and ran with. It's not about being highly educated, but I need you to be educated in terms of understanding management, leadership, budgets, supervising staff, what your man, you know, that you have management capabilities, because just because you ran your own mom and pop situation, like we're finding out at the highest level in terms of the federal government, Donald Trump ran a mom and pop business, and which he bankrupted 5-6 times in different aspects of his company.
That's a whole conversation about
and it
people.
shows
He's a
up
businessman,
now.
and he's not
you've never
successful.
had any experience in public office. You make blunders every day. Adam stepped out on the scene talking about he gonna apply pressure, as I've just ran that in the ground. You know, I'm gonna apply pressure, and you know, if the mayor don't like it, he can fire me. I'm like, how you talking strong and you like, is the ink even dry on your damn contract? And you sitting out here like, and the fact that you gotta understand that there is an aspect of that job that's political in nature, because all of these people are looking for solutions and they're looking for help. And you're the face of that help right now, at least for this particular part of the puzzle, piece of the puzzle. And that you don't understand how the game works is a problem to me. So there are times, I tell people all the time, you can have the best intentions, you can have the best heart, but if you don't understand the game, you gonna either cause somebody to get hurt.
That was exactly what I said. And that's what I mean about it don't matter. What matters is the results that we get. And 9 times out of 10 in that office, the results that we don't get is because of the leadership not allowing, or not just making the decisions down and not understanding we are the people that's doing this work. We understand it. We know what works best. So if you're not listening to us, then we're going to be limited in how we can address things and what we could do. So I don't be that guy. We've had that, right? We need somebody who's going to come in here and listen to see you have all of this going on. You have stuff that has been working. You have brilliant people at the table. You need to sit with them and understand what do y'all think? What should we do? And implement that with whatever you got in your mind, right? So you bring whatever you think is innovative to the table, but you need to listen to us, and you need to, you know, structure how we're going to move forward off of the people that's doing the work.
Okay.
And that's some of the, listen, I will hope he is the broker for conversations with the mayor, because I believe the mayor should be having these conversations.
But look, this me, and I'm messy, but this me. They bring you in because you go help move the conversation on violence prevention, safety, wellness, and then all these things are under there. Like they got human trafficking, they got domestic violence. It's hella stuff listed about the different partners and the outreach that we understand that plays into the overall violence of the community. And I've not reached out to him to have a conversation. I have not.
To Adam, you talking about?
To Adam. Okay. Not reached out. But I am a person that's sitting here going, so how do you go about squashing drama. How do you go about dealing with problems? You just happy to have a whole bunch of people out running around speaking on your behalf, because I'm gonna just tell you, oh, I'm pulling up on people. Michelle got questions. Let me answer your questions, Michelle. Let me talk with you, Michelle. Like, it's just one of them things I just pay attention to, because I know how we deal with stuff. Vaun, Vaun, like Michelle, blah, blah. Hey, Vaun, what's going on, bro? Because, blah, 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 blah. Sherwin Hughes was talking smack about Keisha one day on the radio. She called from DC. hey, bro, I heard you got some questions.
Yeah.
You pull up on people because let's squash it as quick as we can. Let's get to an understanding as quick as we can. So, I look at people all the time and I'm like, your actions speak way louder than your words sometimes.
I don't think I think he didn't understand the gravity of what he was accepting.
I definitely believe that.
I don't think so. Shannon,
and people need to understand, just because you put a tie and a suit on don't mean you a leader, boss. That ain't what that mean. You walk
reentry. They the guys over there in reentry, but this is
so much bigger, and it's different.
So I think,
and that's the only thing too. And I keep cutting you off, and I'm sorry. You're gonna get it out, but I keep trying to tell people this job is bigger than reentry, and I'm sorry. And some of these cats have made reentry a hustle. And take that to the bank and tell it to your mama, because I meant what I said. It's so many people that I'm watching. Reentry has become a hustle. Contract hustle, white folks guilt hustle. Where can I find some grant money? Hustle. And I'm looking at some of these people like, everybody ain't helping. Some of y'all out here making money. And get mad, and then the Republicans all up in it. I ain't gonna bring the partisan, for you, but it's some of this mess is a hustle, and I just be trying to figure out who's the hustler and who's real.
And that's the issue in a lot of these spaces. Honestly, it's an issue in a lot of these spaces, but that's the history and the culture of Milwaukee of everybody, whatever they believe the money is.
Yeah, whatever the fun you chasing the money.
And it's like they're not
new group.
That's why I hate when people say, "Aren't we all here for the same reason?" No, we're not. That's why you see me go at certain people in certain spaces I'll be at, because people can't tell the difference. I'm in the middle of it and I see what they're doing, and I don't always say nothing, because when you say something, they're like, "Well, why y'all arguing?" But it's the same. Guy. It's the same thing in all the circles, right? Because I definitely know some in the reentry
and it's
space.
like that in politics. It's people in the room for the right reasons. It's people in the room because they ain't had nowhere else to go. They ain't never had no damn real job. They been. It's like you said. It is every arena. It's people on the police department for different reasons. It's people that's educators for different reasons. You're right. We may be working in the same field, but we're not all here for the same reason.
I just feel like,
and I like that because I've never said it like that before, and I appreciate you saying that. If we can
address that in these spaces, it will tighten things up, right? Like, and that's my frustration with doing work in any space, is that's always going on in the background. And it takes away when you have teachers who's just there to make a paycheck. Right. That is a disservice to the student and the parents and everybody else.
It fails the whole system, quite frankly, because when your part of the piece of the puzzle is not working, if that doesn't fit, the puzzle's incomplete. It throws off the whole thing. And so that's a part of, and I tell people all the time, like, I know people get sick of me, but somebody got to ask the questions that people are thinking and won't say out loud. We say it quietly behind the scenes. We go along to get along. Some people are not in position to ask the questions because of the type of work that they do, the contracts they got, the jobs that they have. But as long as I got the ability, I'm going to raise the question, either have an answer for me or, just stay mad. But it's going to come up. Okay. So I got callers. See if we can get some people in. I know people want to get in on this conversation. So let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to say ditto and amen again to what I've heard this morning. And I propose that you become a consultant for both of these situations, MPS in particular, and I would love to be one. As long as I've been connected to MPS have always tried to get the voice of the superintendent of these high-ranking people, but they don't seem to want to talk to me. I was an administrator. I was put in as an administrator by Janie Hatton when they had the separate, different superintendent areas. And after 2 years, I was fired summarily. and I
Oh
had
my
taught
God.
everywhere in Milwaukee because they loved me so much. Wherever I went, they sent me somewhere else to share me. Anyway, I taught at Clark. Remember when Clark was a beacon from their MPS, and they were outperforming the other schools, the supposed to be better schools. And what I noticed over there was they had aides in there with these teachers, and the aides were carrying the ship.
Mm.
The aides were like sitting in the hall working individually with people, and they had a math teacher who took groups from every class. And what I proposed and have proposed for the longest, I know we are weak in MPS and most educational systems. We are weak in the STEM subject, and we don't have the teachers to do that. So we should have an online. Somebody told me, Marvin Eccles told me that they have these programs in the suburbs which teach what is weak. And he was asking me what wasn't my idea to find out where it's already going on, and MPS to be a part of that. But my thing is, my essential thing is, I hear it's so tough for discipline in the schools, and I agree. But there are people who may not be qualified, but they should be hired and fired temporarily, suspended when they mess up, but always have a comeback for them. And these should be people who can work with the students, who can get the students' attention and get their respect. And I'm gonna let y'all go on that one. And you have a good one.
All right, thank you.
Totally
Appreciate
agree
it.
with him. That's something that is part of my conversations.
Mm.
But
Okay, let's get another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to know, as violence prevention a position, why was Karen Tyler looked over? I'm going to hang up and listen.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's like a huge question, huge conversation. I don't know the dynamics. I'm as
I'm
far
gonna just say
removed.
politics.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm as far removed from this as possible, but everything I've heard is politics.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people say, well, Michelle, what does that mean? What does it typically mean? Who's cool with who has different views about leadership or the way things should be done, where allegiances lie, all those things play in. But I've had a number of people that have reached out as recently as yesterday that were still advocating for Karen. And I was like, y'all, let me just be clear. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Like
it's unfortunate because I mean, she's been there a long time, and she has been an advocate and one of the people who has said who has done exactly what I said. What should we do? That's a great idea. Let's see how we can implement it. And it's just, it's politics.
All right, y'all. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the conversation with Vaun. He has been extremely generous with his time this morning. One of the few mornings that he had some time. Look, but don't worry. Somebody going to be 911 them in a few minutes. So he got time. He got time to help me then. All right, family. We'll be right back.
Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. So if you have not had an opportunity to see this article yet in the Journal Sentinel, I encourage you to take a read. I'm just looking at like an excerpt from it where it says, for some families, the violence is pervasive. Last October, 12-year-old Markel Newborn was shot and killed by a 15-year-old friend who told the police the shooting was an accident. 2 years earlier, Markel's 2-year-old sister had been killed in another accidental shooting. So this mother loses 2 children to accidental shootings. Court records show the teen was convicted in Markel's death, developed a fascination with guns. So even though he said it was an accident, they still put him in jail. He still caught a case for it, and has struggled with mental health ever since being held at gunpoint with his mother as a toddler. So when we think about like violence, and dealing with, and I mean, the play on the words now, wellness and safety, you understand there's some psychology that's involved in this. That's the thing about why I'm always concerned about who's coming to the table. And yes, there are some real life, examples and mentors and people that can say, hey, these are the mistakes I made. But some of this is systemic stuff that we got to be able to understand and address too. And yes, I can talk about growing up in a house where there was domestic violence, but I don't necessarily know all the science behind it. So I think I have a healthy respect for all of that, that you bring all those different skills to the table, to be able, like how we get here. How does dude get to a point where, I saw another man, beat on a woman, or violence was the way things were expressed. You just don't know. So as you are now a part of this work, like what's ideal for you at this point, Vaun, in terms of what that office does, the way we engage? I don't know how many of y'all are actually up in these schools, in addition to whatever they doing with these safety resource officers that are back in the schools now, which seems to be more reactionary. Maybe some deterrent aspect in there because you see officers in the school. But what if you had the best ideal situation, what would that be in terms of what this office looks like?
I feel like in a lot of these spaces, if they were to consult and refer to folks who do this specific work, because it's like State Fair, right? State Fair has police, they have security, and they have all of this manpower. But if they don't know what to look for to even prevent, to even know something's about to happen,
right,
then you're going to miss it, and you only going to respond to it once something actually happens. And so that's why we were successful dealing with that situation, because we know what to look for. We can intervene before.
Well, wait, what do you mean? Because I knew they were having like some fights and stuff out at State Fair.
So if you look at this year, we had maybe 1 or 2 incidents. We had 1 actual fight. No, we had 2, but this was the lowest of incidents they've had because we flooded it with violence prevention specialists.
Really?
All of the
I didn't
teams.
realize that.
So Water Street. We dealt with Water Street.
Yeah.
We dealt with State Fair. And this was prior to the flooding situation. So we've been tackling stuff outside of our zones and it's not outside of my normal scope, but this is the first time the office has been doing certain things, right? And it has been successful. And I think my insisting that we do this stuff, right, is help improve the case. Right.
So like, and I'm gonna go to the phone line real quick, but now I can't resist. So the little burnout stuff is streetcar stuff.
So that's a whole beast. That's, to be honest with you, I don't think it's there is something that could be done. The way that is happening now, there's not much they can do about that because it's so spontaneous. These are underground.
Had anything happened before, like that big Labor Day weekend situation where you got these 20 spots where they say, or 15?
Oh no, this has been happening. This has been happening. Yes, this has been.
So we just aren't really hearing about it on the news.
It's usually so quick because they'll take over a street. It could be 10 minutes, it could be half an hour, and then they'll just go to the next spot. And they pop up spontaneous, and they just, and it's really, unless you
see, I'm talking about it because I hadn't seen it reported. So I'm like,
there have been meetings this year at least where this has been
come up.
Yeah, this has been a long-standing issue because they can't even respond to it because of how spontaneous it is. And by the time they get to it, they're so organized that it's blocked off. They can't even necessarily get in there to do something about it, and then they just go and they pop up somewhere else. What I suggest to be done.
I did not realize that this had been going on for a while.
The only real thing we can do about this is to, and I've said this multiple times about different situations, you have to carve out space, right? To say, this is where y'all can do this at.
Which is what Lena, Mike McGee and them talked about, being able to utilize the baseball stadium parking lot.
Yeah.
When it's off season, ain't nobody over there. Have folks, security, police posted up when they was cruising. Lakeisha was talking about when she was, young. She was like, she was part of the cruisers, little criminal. She was part of the cruising. Going on, and she said, yeah, because we didn't have anywhere to go because you in that sweet spot. We come home from college, and there's no we 19, we can't get in nowhere.
Yeah,
so we hanging out.
If you don't create space and control it,
they'll make it,
and it's not going to be what you want.
All right, let me go to the phone. Let me go to the phone line, and then on one level, let me apologize to the MPA president because when he's like, well, I'll be calling in, want to call in the troops. I'm like, this just happened, so I didn't know it had been going on. You still don't get to call in the troops.
No, not for that.
But I at least want to admit that I was wrong in not understanding that this has been an ongoing problem. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
You ain't got nobody be locking up this morning.
You know what? We started. Ma'am, thank you very much.
What's that?
Someone got a not guilty verdict yesterday. Very much.
Look,
I'm leading in case closures, ma'am. Please and thank you.
Look, is Jermaine's case up for review yet?
Because our show needs you.
Is Rideout's case on your docket?
I have to recuse myself on Jermaine.
Because I already was trying to get his case in front of you. What's going on, Judge Taylor?
I was calling to say the work, Vaun, at State Fair. I'm excited to hear that work. That's work that I also actually tried to get the chief of that police department and the governor to see that it would be great work to do as a pipeline into MPD and county police stations because of exactly what you talked about. People don't have a gun. They don't have a taser. They have to use their mouth and their reasoning to be able to de-escalate situations. And your work has proven that that can happen. This is what I tried to get the governor to do because it was another way to, for example, put people on the ground. So, like, for example, it could be used as ambassadors in the business district was one of the things that, like what they do downtown, but in the neighborhood. So I'm just saying that to say more great work. Let me at least find that stuff, give it to you so that you can make some of those connections and say some of those things, because I believe that the work that you've done is a great effort to show how it can be, like they're not police officers, but they are important components because that de-escalation is part of what's missing, especially for mental health in our community. And I just wanted to say that and say, don't stop doing that. And let's see how we can build on that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Jermaine will be there by 4 o'clock today.
I am on my way. How the side door open.
That's the side door. Hannah Dugan. Not Judge Taylor doing the Hannah Dugan.
Yeah.
You can use the side door.
We working together.
What you say? We working together.
We working together.
Ah, so messy. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Audience. As you know, this is Mr. Harris. I usually call with some good information.
Yes.
Now, this is the thing that I think that the mayor should do, and I've been trying to get someone to assist. It has been decades of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, kids in our city that has been chopped out of recreation. Okay. So this has built up, and within decades of not having recreation, for them to have a special outlet where they can relieve this extra estrogen energy and all that excitement feeling. The Milwaukee Mayor and the mayor, instead of him punishing everyone that needs to go to work and minimizing the 3 lanes just because they can't get a handle on these individuals that's breaking the crime, you do not prosecute individuals that has not used roads recklessly and make it where everyone that needs to go to work get confined to a one confined line, because it was an untasty measure to make these roads like that for high-speed chases, okay? That's not good, because it puts us decades in evolution of the future, okay? That's putting us backward. As the population get bigger, the city is supposed to widen up and make more reservation for the expansion. Now, I think that was not a good tasty, and I think it was a waste of taxpayers' money to limit everyone that needs to go to work and be on time. It's causing a lot of people to get late, okay? I don't think that everybody should be punished for something that someone else does themselves. I think those things need to be removed before the winter, and all that cement they could have had put a gate up that comes from out of the ground at the lights that has a warning sign that these gates are about to come up, spikes from out of the ground like London. All that cement they could have spent to have that done at every intersection. And they could have had a Bluetooth device for the special policing and the ambulance to be able to stop the lights so they could come through, okay? Now, that side, beside all the racing and stuff like that, they need to capitalize. Take something that's bad and turn it to a positive. Make a recreation park where these defenders that have been doing these type of things will have a place that they can race for Wisconsin. Put them into some training and take the head that we are a race in endeavor city that needs to have that type of outlet. Capitalize on that and change it up. But I'm going to leave y'all with this one thing. Everybody was at work yesterday, but the U.S. just finally admitted that aliens are here. While everybody was at work, it was the Congressional Congress meeting again, 2016, before Donald Trump got in, his doggone presidentiary Vaun and blew over any highlights, okay? This is the reason why Donald Trump is trying to make a space force, because he's making deals with aliens, okay? For the highest technology, okay? Y'all need to wake up, go and check out what they talked about yesterday, and I'll leave and digress from that.
All right. Thank you, caller. I appreciate the call. That was a lot.
I want to shout out Jasmine Tyler, because she, for people who know about the T-Pain incident, that's what T-Pain, the conversation Jazz was having with T-Pain about the drift, about the
so tell people though the T-Pain incident,
so
everybody won't know.
You know, and I think it was it State Fair? I think it was State Fair that he was supposed to do this program with, and then they pulled out and said that it would bring you know, but that was the whole point when Jazz was, you know, when they were building this and Jazz was working with him to say, let's take some of these young people, teach them how to do this professionally, and then connect it with NASCAR and all these different things. So again, if the hierarchy and these people over all these huge platforms could listen and understand what is trying to be done, then we wouldn't continue to have issues that people just complain about. There are people who are trying to do something about it, but if you don't understand it and just say no,
right,
then I mean the lock-in program would have never have happened. If Shantia would not have given us that opportunity, people would just have continued to say no, right? So I know people are scared of certain things, but to do nothing and just be scared and complain,
some of it is scared, some of it
is
you just don't have the capacity to understand. You're making me think about when Lena was trying to get everybody to understand the significance of urban agriculture in the city of Milwaukee and how we, you know, do things. And, you know, I told her, like, if you walk around with one more wood pencil, You see her coming. She got the damn pencils, wood chips, and wood. You know, it's like, okay, leader. But now 10 years later, 12 years later,
people are getting it.
Yeah, you got brothers now working these jobs in companies who didn't even have this as a career path. But an apprenticeship program gets created over at Northcott.
Arborist, yep.
Yeah, at her insistence. And you see a lot of this stuff. So some of it is, whether it's not even just fear, it's some of it is just complacency, lazy. Because if you
just want to
tell me today, Michelle, I got to start exercising, I got to change up the game. I got to do things differently, and I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm now still fat. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You laughing way too hard. I'm gonna do it later. Oh, you want to wake up now? You want to wake up over there behind the mic? You want to wake up?
I've been back here since you want to throw shots with Judge Taylor.
You want to wake up now? Let me get this last caller so I can get Vaun back to his business. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Vaun.
Good morning. Good morning.
You know something? It's exciting every time I get a chance to hear and watch Vaun, because he's been struggling for a long time, and now he gets a position to where he can really try to reach out and help some people. But that cruising thing is something that I think that it would be upon us, because does it have to be in the city? Because the county has a lot of property out towards the House of Correction. Then you don't have to deal with the Franklin people, but then you can get in rural areas out that way, whereas you can do that. Or I think it's enough people with concerns to perhaps put together and buy a little plot of land outside and outside in the city here, or maybe here in the inner city. But you got to be careful with that because of the noise variance. You got people that are going to complain. So it has to be in a some type of not commercial area, but pretty much a what do you call it? Industrial area, or it could be in a rural area somewhere. I mean, if they want to go that bad, they'll go. And it could generate revenues. So you figure a few people could pick up maybe 4-5 acres, and then see what the county city would have to say about. Well, it would be outside of the city, so it would be a county situation, and see what they're talking about. But it would have to be like that. Then the other brother that called in about Vision Zero with these one lanes. I don't want to deviate because he started talking good, and then he went to talk about aliens. And the only alien I know is the illegal aliens that are taking over our community. Now he was doing good, and he went to talk about aliens. So the only alien he should be concerned about is that one that's got the job that he can't even get to work on time. There ain't no job for him.
We was doing good. We was doing good. We was doing good.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, B.
Bro, keep up the good work, man.
Thank you.
He gonna tell me to keep up the good work.
You do pretty good.
Oh, why you hang up today? You been too slow, man.
Hey, I figured I'd let him get it in.
Why you ain't hang up?
I figured I'd let him get it in.
Look at here. Giving out compliments to Vaun. All right, Street Angel. Everybody singing your little praises. I appreciate you taking time to come in. You bring a different level of perspective, enlightenment, and like you said, and I tell people all the time, look, this ain't what I do. I know stuff. I can get to stuff. I know the people who to call who can help me understand. And sometimes I can't speak and not have all the information, but I'm willing to go back and correct myself on that. So definitely that on that street piece, because I did not realize this was an ongoing issue. But look, bro, to the extent that you can, like, feel free to contact me to use this platform to be able to educate our community, things that our young people need to understand, something we may be missing, a trend we don't understand is going on, like parents, caregivers. I need y'all to understand that the meetup is, and I know maybe we can't say it on the radio because then the kids like, okay, so now we switch the meetup. But as a parent, there are things that, or caregiver, I need to be looking at my child and paying attention to how they moving differently, because everybody, the way you act, many of us, the way we acted in the streets was not the way we acted at home. And the friends that our mamas told us not to kick it with,
Mhm.
we still kicked it with them when we left the house,
Mhm.
and then get caught up in dumb stuff. So is there any parting words, things that you want to say to folks?
I just want to, you know, just offer, you know, people some encouragement, because the piece that you have, the questions and all that, I do know that they are planning to do open house, townhouse conversations with Adam.
Dude, if you say townhouse one more time,
town hall, my bad, that townhouse.
If you say townhouse,
town hall,
one more time,
where people can come in and voice those frustrations and concerns. Hopefully they do it sooner than later so we can get it out the way.
Get it out the way.
Because honestly, like I said, you know, our concern and our thing is we want to get to the work, and you know, the longer it takes to do that, the longer we still have our concerns about, you know, what's next and how things are going to go. So I totally understand it. I just wanted to come in because I didn't want anybody to think that I was part of no show or that was the intent. I know people,
because that's what it looked like to me. It was a dog and pony show.
Yeah. I know people brought up the papers. Shannon printed those out, and that was really the run of the show that the judge was going off.
Right.
Of.
No,
That's why I put it down. I'm like, you know, because we weren't going. Reggie had his own answers. And
like,
questions.
yeah, you like, and like, I get that part of it. I know, you know, but again, you got a stool sitting here for a table.
Yeah.
It just looked like some country nonsense, man.
You ain't
gotta say it. I'll say it. It's like, if you want somebody to take you seriously, then look serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be serious.
Mm-hmm.
And this Mammy Mae thrown together nonsense, that's what it looked like. Mammy Mae thrown together nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all all run organizations. I'm sorry, forgive me for expecting a degree of professionalism in the way you present.
No, listen,
you know, and don't be so ridiculous to not know that people can see through and understand when they looking at something that's thrown together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a CYA, or we got to stop the bleeding, you know. And then go back to the mayor. Do the mess in a way that the community, somebody, and I keep saying, and I'm done. But the fact that y'all don't have people around y'all that can tell y'all, this is going to be a problem if you do it like this. Because there was no rush.
Mm-hmm.
You could have put together a plan to say, hey, some came up. We ain't going to be able to get the guy we wanted to of the three y'all met. We are looking at another candidate. We'd like to bring that person, you know, community, come out, meet them.
Mm-hmm.
But it just left such a bad taste in people's mouth. And so you make it hard for your own guy because of the way your office so badly handled it. You know, and I would just tell Chevy 100 ways from Sunday, y'all was raggedy, you know, period. Y'all was raggedy in the way you did it. And then trying to stand on it. You know, like, I have the right to do so. Just because I got the right don't mean I did it right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done, Vaun. I'm done. But I love you, bro. Like so many people in this community, you do the damn thing day in and day out.
It's people like you that's helped me do the thing.
You know,
you already know all this.
Look, I mean, and I tell people that all the time too. You may not see certain people at the meeting, you know, standing in the food line, giving away food, but people in the background, like, you know, can I shoot y'all some money? Can I, you know, bring some product by? What can I do? And then we know all of us being pulled on in different directions, because that's the other thing. I know, you know, because it was a couple times I saw you. I was like, hey, bro, you need to fall back and take care of yourself, because you become the name. You know, when people looking for who to call, even the elected officials telling people call Vaun, you know, because I can't get you immediate housing. I can't help get you a stove. You know, like, I need a stove. And so people, and I'm telling you, as long as you give, people will take. And I had to tell Lena, tell myself, tell Lakeisha, man, we'll be dead and gone. The need to still be there. So if we want some longevity for our own life, we got to remember to put ourselves first somewhere in this mix, and you look good. So I hope that you keeping that front and center. Take care of yourself. Can't, like they tell you on that plane, put your own mask on first, even before your child.
Trying to get there.
All right, handsome.
Thank you.
I will let you go. Appreciate you, family. I'm gonna take a break.
Y'all.
Make sure we got Jermaine's court date straight now.
I'm on the run. I'm not coming. They gonna have to
Look,
catch me.
Keisha said we don't want Vaughn's headstone to say died fooling with the black community.
He was a good man,
Yeah.
but he died fooling with our community.
All right, y'all. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, we was just having a quick second during the break because I told him, I said, hey, pull up some music so I can honor my man, Big Daddy Kane, who turned 57 today. Ooh, that boy know he skills. Skills is ridiculous, man. I'm just gonna sit here. Bruh still look good and was doing his thing. Remember, he started out as a member of the Juice Crew. Like, trying to remember when Heavy D passed away. And I was like, Heavy D died after Michael Jackson. He's like, no, he didn't. He died in the 90s. I was like, boy, Heavy D died. I look it up, 2011. Mike Jackson died 2009. But I'm going to talk about Big Daddy Kane. He got one song that is a political song for me that when I tell you, when I hear it, sometimes I play it just to be reminded of the fight and what we're supposed to be doing out here. So big ups to Antonio Hardy. That is Big Daddy Kane's real name. Antonio Hardy, who is a rapper, producer, actor. I think about the movie Posse. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the boy fine. Just fine to death. So I will I'll talk a little bit more about him later. But with that being said, I want to do two quick things before my show ends. And remember, I'm covering for my colleague today, Mr. Paris. But Meech said that the caller who had called in talking about the racetrack and stuff was doing good until they started talking about aliens. So I just want people to understand where those comments come from that the brother made. A group of military whistleblowers testified under oath yesterday that they have seen UFOs and that the government is a part of a cover-up. A group of military whistleblowers testified under oath that they have seen unidentified flying objects and accused the government of being part of a cover-up. GOP Congresswoman, and I'm taking this from an article in the Independent, Anna Paulina Luna, who chairs the House Oversight and Government Reforms Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, chaired a panel Tuesday on unidentified aerial phenomena, which they call UAPs. We also know them as UFOs. Air Force veterans Jeffrey Nutelli and Dylan Borland, as well as Navy veteran Alexandra Wiggins, spoke at the hearing, along with the journalist George Knapp, a prominent figure in the UFO disclosure community. Representative Eric Burleson of Missouri showed the hearing mysterious, never before seen footage of an orb or an unknown object off the coast of Yemen on October 30th, 2024, being struck by a Hellfire missile. The object continued on its trajectory after being struck by the missile. That's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off, and it just kept going. So they're saying we sent a Hellfire missile and the capacity and the strength connected to this type of weaponry, and it did nothing to whatever this object was. There's a server where there's a whole bank of these kinds of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public has not been allowed to see, Knapp said or added, hinting at a cover-up. Former Air Force military police officer Nucelli said the video provided exceptional evidence that UFOs exist. The witness told the hearing he experienced 5 unexplained incidents at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. Vandenberg Air Force Base in California between 2003 and 2005. And Knapp claimed that the government documents reveal that intelligence officials admit that UFOs are real. The documents from military and intelligence personnel behind closed doors admit that these things are real. They're not fictitious, Knapp said. They can fly in formation. They're evasive, and they outperform any aircraft known to exist, including ours. The public, of course, as I have said, has been told something much different. So this thing goes on and on. One guy said he saw a approximately 100-foot equilateral triangle takeoff from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, where he was stationed in 2012. He claimed his career was derailed after he shared his experience. Somebody said, Michelle, it was on ABC News last night, where you could see this missile striking it. Yeah, you got the video, and I know I saw some of it. I didn't watch it in a lot of detail because I was multitasking. But so I just want to say to Meech, when you say, "Oh, there you go," that there were people that were actually testifying to this yesterday in Congress. So Representative Jasmine Crockett out of Texas, ranking Democratic member on the committee, said NASA has not found any evidence that UAPs have an extraterrestrial origin. Quote, while some people think of flying saucers when they hear these terms, it is vital that we focus on the real world impact of UAPs on critical infrastructure, civilian safety, national security. There is good reason to believe that most UAPs have origins far closer to home. So Jasmine, kind of says, look, I don't think that these are, aliens, but something clearly is going on. Bottom line, and I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to use the quick example of what was done with the United States and the Navy SEAL situation. I think I talked about that the other day, where the Navy SEALs go into South Korea. Wait, was it North Korea? Let me see. Navy SEALs, Korea. I think it was North Korea. Wait. Dang, this internet and this is just so ridiculous, man. Let me use my phone real quick. Okay, because it's just going so North Korea. Thank you. I don't have to look for it. But the Navy SEALs, so Trump gives the approval for the Navy SEALs to do this practice exercise about going into an area to plant listening devices so that the U.S. can figure out, in terms of intelligence, what other countries are doing. So according to this report that had come out in the, I think it was the New York Times, they revealed that the Trump administration sent in a U.S. SEAL team that went into North Korea, and they were not connected to any surveillance equipment. They are trying to get on shore so that they can plant listening devices in the country. While they are in the midst of the mission, a boat appears on the water, and the SEALs see this boat, and the boat actually has a light on it, and they believe that the boat is about to see them in the water. They don't know who is in this boat. And so there is a call made by the leader of this group that they are going to kill everybody on the boat. And they do. And I think because I've been talking about this so much, I'm pretty sure I talked about this on air. But they do. They kill the people on the boat. Come to find out, the people on the boat are just fishermen who just happen to be out trying to catch some fish. And I know I remember talking about now because I talked about that when the Navy SEALs kill these people, they need their bodies to sink to the water, to the ocean floor. So you have to puncture the lungs to make sure that the body stays submerged. And that's what they did. And then they never get to plant the listening devices. At the same time, Donald Trump is engaged with, handshakes and love letters with Kim Jong-un. And they come back to, safety, in terms of their U.S. bases. And supposedly, nobody knows that this operation happened. So Donald Trump gets asked about it in the media. He says, I don't know anything about it. That's his go-to. I don't know anything about it. Members of Congress who head up the committees that would have been typically made aware of this have never been informed. People are learning about it because of reports that are in the newspaper. One of the things that we know is that a lot of information does not get told and shared with the public. That goes on behind closed doors. Some of it is truly about national security. some of it is just about people making decisions to keep the public in the dark. As a result of that conversation, I was talking with the history teacher, Lakeisha Myers, and she reminded me. She said, "Well, you remember, Michelle, the whole Malay massacre, and that the man that was involved in that was here in Wisconsin." And I had to go back. I'm like, okay, this goes back to Vietnam. And I'm just going to pull it up so I can make sure I say this real quick. But there was a guy, he was an Army captain by the name of Ernest Medina. And he was considered a key figure in the Malay, and it's spelled M-Y, Malay, L-A-I, massacre during the Vietnam War. He died in Wisconsin back in 2018. But he was an Army captain on March 16, 1968, when American troops under his command killed hundreds of unarmed Vietnamese civilians. He was acquitted in a court martial over the massacre. He died on May 8th. And, they talked about who this guy was, but he ends up making his way to Wisconsin some kind of way and ends up working in like some business and living here. But they say that he was directly responsible for the deaths of 182 unarmed civilians. The platoon he was with took up a position in a reserve outside the village in Vietnam where they were, and that the soldiers knowingly acknowledged killing women, children, old people, that these people were not armed. And it was like this horrible, horrible massacre. We didn't find out about that for a long time. For a long, long time, we did not find out what happened, while these people were over in Vietnam. And I tell people all the time, I think about my dad, because they said he got out of the military after he got through not being court-martialed. He moved to Marinette, Wisconsin in 1971. He was a salesman for a helicopter manufacturer, later went into real estate. But all these people died in connection to this military action. We knew nothing about it. So there are things that happen within the United States government that I know we don't get told. Do I believe in aliens and UFOs? I'm just going to tell you, I've never personally seen anything, but I have learned to hold my peace on some stuff and never say never. You look like you want to say something.
Yeah.
What?
I'm an alien. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So I'm an alien, man. Yeah, I just want to waste your time.
I just want to call ICE.
Come get
I'm going to call ICE and tell them to come get you there.
Yeah,
And you've acknowledged it on air, so it won't be a problem getting you picked up. No. I like that. Yeah. I like that idea. But do you believe that there's something else out there?
There is. There is something out there, man.
Do you?
No, seriously, something is.
Sounds right.
Something is happening, man. I don't know what it is.
I'm just gonna say, never say never. We got a caller. I realized I had a caller. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Here's George Justin.
Hello.
Michelle.
Yes.
I know y'all gonna laugh out there.
Okay, go ahead.
But Michelle, I raised my right hand to God, and I would not say that, Michelle, but not true. I've never seen an alien. We saw a UFO back in the 70s. So we were standing out front on 7th and Capitol, right? In front of us. We're talking and stuff. And we look up and we was like, what is that right there? Michelle, it was just hovering. Just hovering. And so we started yelling, Mama, come here. She came out on the porch. She looked up. We saw it. The only thing, Michelle, nobody had enough sense, because, back then they had Polaroids. Nobody had enough sense to run in the house to get the Polaroid and take a picture. So it starts going down west on Capitol Drive. So we jump in the car and start going down Capitol Drive. Then it just went shoot. It took off Michelle. But Michelle, I've told this story before, and I know people laugh, and my brother have told his students about it and stuff. But Michelle, don't think it's not true, Michelle. I wouldn't come on the air and say it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, Michelle. And here's the thing. One day we were talking about it, and this dude said he was on 20th. I forgot what street he said he saw the same thing that night. So, but I've never seen an alien. But I can tell you, we saw a UFO that night, Michelle. I will put my life on the line, but I wouldn't come on here to try and make anybody laugh about it. This is serious, Michelle. So don't think it's not true, people. I've never seen an alien, but I've seen a UFO before. Because I've never seen anything in the United States that could hover like that, Michelle. And it wasn't a sphere, it was like a saucer, and it was just going.
And what year was this, George? Or what time frame?
This was back in the 70s because I had just graduated from Rufus King. We just standing outside. I want to say about, and Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, I would have to call my brother because we were all out there. I want to say it was 73 or 74, Michelle, and it was in the summertime.
Okay.
But we were tripping for that, Michelle. So when y'all start talking about that, and y'all start laughing about that guy. Now I think they just did that as a distraction yesterday to get off of the Epstein stuff, but don't think that they ain't out there. We done got this technology from someplace. So don't fool yourself what they may have that they ain't telling us about.
Oh, look, I've already said, I don't put nothing past nobody. Thank you, George. I'm getting ready to end the show. Please stay tuned if you can. I'm gonna cover for Keith. I'll say this on my way out the door. I pulled up something about whether or not there have been any UFO sightings in Wisconsin. And literally 1896 to 1897, an airship mystery. 1961, a farmer claimed aliens landed and asked him for water in 1961. In the 1970s, a flurry of sightings were in Wisconsin. Some of them as far away as East Eau Claire. I was looking for Milwaukee. So there have been things that have been reported. And I just wanted to look at that time frame. And yes, there were people saying that they saw some things during that time frame. All right, family, that's going to wrap my show. Please hang with me. I'm going to be interviewing, I believe, a candidate for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, Judge Chris Taylor, and covering a ton of topics. And after Chris's interview, I will be right back. Okay, it's going to be a long morning. Talk to y'all. Look, I'm ending my show. Peace.